Welcome to the Drew Yari Show.
Might be a relatively short show tonight, kind of like last week, where we really only have maybe a few big things to talk about, which is good.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of news between Friday and today. Obviously, I mean, we had the two shows to talk about. We have the preview for Fastlane, and there's a couple news stories out there, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? It's actually Tuesday, not Wednesday. It's Tuesday, special Tuesday edition of the podcast. It is NXT just ended not too long ago, so we have a lot to say about that. But you already know me. I'm Drew. I'm the host of the show, and with me, as always, from the Morning Slam podcast, which is on YouTube, 8:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday.
Yes, it's Justin, Morning Slam Podcast, and from Spinebuster Tees, spinebustertees.com.
Yes, sir. So, and also just kind of let y'all know, we're doing this Tuesday show just for now. Tomorrow, I'm going to be busy. I'm not going to be home. Long story short, I'm volunteering at Comic-Con this year. Big Texas Comic-Con. So, Wednesday, I'll need to show up to this, it's a walkthrough, basically, of the event. Basically telling us what we're going to do, what group we're going to be in, and I have to be there. It's at 5:30, so I wasn't sure how long I was going to be there, but just to kind of play it safe, I just decided to move it to today's show or Wednesday's show to a day earlier, today. And, yeah, just want to kind of play it safe and not just cancel a show or move it to a later date, but yeah, we're doing this show on Tuesday just for now, just to kind of.
Good night. It's a good night to do the podcast anyway, because kind of what just happened at NXT and like the events from the past few days. So
yeah, I mean it should be a nice show tonight, but I mean yeah, we usually start with SmackDown, but like. I mean, do you really want to talk about SmackDown?
No, there's really no point of talking about it at all. I mean, not to say it was a bad show or anything like that. It's just like there's way too much things that that's more important than SmackDown. I don't think no one would care to hear about our SmackDown thoughts when news just broke on NXT for several things.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. But yeah, let's get into it. So. Just kind of skim through it. SmackDown was fine. It happened. LA Knight returned, and LA Knight's going to be Cena's partner. The end. And then yes. Ray and Escobar had a good match, and then I guess the new heel, I was going to say Hurt Profits, Street Profits came out, and now they've made Uncle Bobby Lashley proud. So that was SmackDown. So let's get into the meat and potatoes. So Saturday was No Mercy. We'll talk about No Mercy for a little bit. It was in Bakersfield, California, at the Mechanics Bank Arena. Do you want to do like match by match, or do you just want to do like the whole show? Just like...
wherever you feel is necessary. I'll let you decide that.
All right. So I mean, overall, before I get into the actual show, I'll just say I enjoyed the show. I gave it a B-. Like I was telling RJ earlier, just the good stuff was good, and the stuff that was meh was meh. Like that's how I kind of put it. But there was a pre-show match. You had Blair Davenport versus Kalani Jordan, singles match. It was 6 minutes and 38 seconds. Decent match. It was a match. I'll just put it that way. It happened. Kalani Jordan, for somebody who hasn't really wrestled that long, she's actually pretty good. So I see a bright future ahead of her, and I also found this out earlier. She's dating Carmelo Hayes.
Oh yeah, I've been knowing that.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I've been knowing that. Yeah. So
it's an interesting couple. And Blair Davenport's good in her role as the bully heel. So This was an okay match. What'd you think about the match?
Well, first off, NXT I gave it a 9 out of 10. I thought it was a A show. It was everything on this show overall was good to fantastic. But Blair Davenport, Klein Jordan. Blair Davenport, she she ain't like needed a win, but like she's that heel that's being built up right now, and that kind of. She lost tonight, but like she could have taken the loss because Gigi needed to win more. But Klein Jordan, she's, I've been paying attention to her on a level up, and she's very good for her tenure in wrestling. She is like Tiffany Stratton, where she comes from the gymnast background, so obviously she has a very good split-legged moonsault, a la RVD. So the future's bright for her, and can't wait to see even more of her. Saw some more of her tonight, but I want to see her develop. And it was a fine match for what it was on the pre-show.
Right. So the first match of the night, you had Baron Corbin versus Braun Breaker in a singles match. I surprisingly enjoyed the match. Like I thought it was fun. It was entertaining. Was it the best wrestling match? No, but it didn't need to be. Like the whole point of the match was just, two big hosses just beating the fuck out of each other. And I thought it did a good job in that. I thought this could have used a stipulation, unlike the main event, which we'll talk about when we get to it. But I thought this match probably could have benefited more from having a stipulation, especially, the big table spot with Baron Corbin doing end of days on Braun. And then Braun now all of a sudden he's doing the Undertaker sit-up, which I don't know. How do you feel about that when Braun does it?
I think it's funny.
I love it too.
It's terrifying. It's terrifying, but funny at the same time. Like I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. It makes him a killer. It makes him someone to be reckoned with. So I'm good with that.
He's like, "Come on, bitch! Come on, give me, bitch!" He's just yelling at Baron. I love it. Baron got the win after interference from Robert Stone, who wants revenge for Von Kali, which I know you can sympathize with that.
Yeah, man. I was upset I didn't get to see Von Kali, but beggars can't be choosers. So
yeah, right. So Baron got the win. Like I said, I surprisingly had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually enjoying Baron Corbin in NXT. Like I think it almost seems like he's having fun. Like he seems happier on NXT. And he's doing more than he's doing more of what he wants to do in NXT than what he got to do on the main roster. But overall, what'd you think about the match?
It was a fun opener. It was a hot opener. A lot of good spots, good brawling and whatnot. Braun Breaker losing the way they did made sense, right? Baron Corbin winning is okay too as well, so they made it make sense. No one looked bad out of it. Braun Breaker didn't get buried or anything like that. So it was a fine opener, and I think that was the right match to open the show.
Right. Next is you had the North American Championship. You had Trick Williams versus Dominic Mysterio, Dirty Dominic Mysterio, with Dragon Lee as a special guest referee. Trick is over. Like he is over like we're over with this crowd. They love his new theme. They love saying "whoop that Trick." I think he gets better and better with each match. He has all the tools to be a star on the main roster. Personally, I think he has a better upside than Mello. It's just an opinion, and I love Mello. Just an opinion. So it was. I mean, this was actually a pretty good match. Given the time limit, other than the two, blown ref spots, or not blown ref spots, but the two bumped ref spots. This is a good match. Dom that week, he had his best match against Dragon Lee, and then he had another really good match with Trick. Dom is someone who's getting better and better with each performance as well. And I don't know if it's just me that notices this, but he's actually bulking up a little bit. I don't know if that's just me, or do you notice anything about Dom?
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing it over the past couple of years that he's been gaining more mass. Yeah, not like a lot of mass, but he's been gaining more mass for sure. But I think it's hidden because of his attire that he wears.
I don't know. The only thing that bothers me about his attire is that he doesn't wear any wrist tape. I don't know why that bothers me. I don't know why.
I don't even notice that to even care.
I don't know. Just whenever wrestlers don't wear wrist tape or elbow pads, I just kind of, I don't know. It irks me a little bit. But no, this is a good match. Trick Williams won. Became the new North American champion. ... for now. But overall, what'd you think about the match?
It was one of the weaker matches on the show. Not to say it was a bad match. I thought the match was good. Trick is over, but he's super green. Super green. He needs more development. I was hearing people saying, "Oh, we gotta get Trick up to the main roster." Why? What's the rush?
No.
Like, what are we like? Come on, like, let's use our heads a little bit. What's the rush? So no main roster or anything like that. But but the match was serviceable. Trick got the win. It didn't really matter. I mean, after reviewing this match right now, this win didn't matter. Did he need the North American Championship? Is this advancing anything between him and Carmelo? I really don't think it really is at this point in time.
Disagree.
Because okay, let me hear your assessment to that.
All right, so our conversation last week about it, where we were talking about the eventual, heel turn, where you said it was going to be Trick, and the idea, well, not just with you, a lot of people said it was going to be Trick, but you also said when you look at it, it's kind of fucked up because it kind of makes Melo look like a heel, but he's supposed to be the face. Whereas I just kind of threw the idea out there of like, Trick needs to be the face in this and Melo needs to be the heel because, and again, I like Melo, but Melo's been a little stale as a face as of late. Just a personal opinion.
And I actually admit that on my podcast on Monday. So, but it's another reason behind that. But what's the reason why you think that Trick should have won the title on Saturday when he just lost it 5 minutes ago?
At the moment, I mean, judging by what just happened, 20 minutes ago, but at the moment, I think it furthers the storyline with him and Melo, and also what happened, earlier on NXT when, Braun kind of was, basically stirring the shit, saying, why wasn't your buddy at Gorilla, hugging you and telling you that he's proud of you and everything's going to be okay. Like at the time, it seemed like, okay, this is a good way to kind of further that storyline of people love Trick. And, Melo's trying to be that good, caring friend. But inside, he's like, I should be champion. Like, I brought Trick here. He should be carrying my bags. He should be supporting me, not the other way around. But judging by what just happened in the main event, okay, here's two schools of thinking. Here's the WWE school of thinking, and here's our school of thinking. The WWE school of thinking is going to give us that thought of, Trick is maybe going to be a little concerned that, and this is kind of sounding fucked up just saying it, but like, because it kind of maybe contradicts everything I just said and everything that just happened is he might be upset that Melo wasn't there. Or, I don't know. But that's the WWE school of thinking. All in all, I really don't want Trick to be the heel because it's still going to make him look sympathetic to the fans. And if
I feel that Trick is going to end up being the babyface in this, to your point. Long story short, if this was going to be the result, they could have written this story a lot better between Trick and Melo versus ending a title reign. Even though I don't agree with Dom being the champion in the first place, but still ending a title reign for only 72 hours. What was the point of taking the title off of him in the first place? To have a little dissension of in Judgment Day when now all of a sudden, like, you could still have that dissension without taking the title off of Dom. You know what I mean? So that's number one. Now, number two, I'm thinking, and it depends what happens, because I don't even know if it's going to happen now because John Cena's going to be in his corner. But when Melo said he got off the phone with somebody, I was thinking, and I hope they didn't address it, and I actually mentioned this on Monday, on yesterday's podcast. I'm thinking because we got Fastlane on Saturday. It's on Saturday, I think. On Saturday. One of the matches on there is the LWO versus Street Profits and Bobby Lashley. Right now, it's a 3-on-4 handicap match. How awesome would it be for Carmelo Hayes to debut and join the I guess the new Hurt Business, or whatever the case that may be. They need a fourth person. So with Melo having heel-like tendencies and the new Street Profits and Bobby Lashley now seeming like they're heels now, wouldn't that be a perfect combination of that to actually happen? Now, that's for Melo going to the main roster. As far as NXT is concerned, there's nothing else for Melo to do. Whatever he does with John Cena and anything next week, they're gonna probably have a match between him and Trick. I get it. Melo may be heel in the feud. I get it. Melo may end up putting over Trick. I get it. But if Trick was still champion, the North American champion, at that point they'll be fighting for something a little bit more, because when Melo looked at Trick at the end of No Mercy, he looked at the belt too as well. I was like, oh man, why does Melo want to go after the North American Championship? It makes no sense because of the fact that he just lost the NXT Championship. You know what I mean? So is he that desperate to have some type of gold around his waist? I don't know, but they're going to let that story play out, of course. But long story short, I want to see Melo at Fastlane on Sunday if he comes in, or Saturday, wherever it is. On Saturday, if he comes in, have him join the Street Profits and Bobby Lashley, right? But that means he's going to be a heel. But the logic if he comes back to NXT next week and John Cena's in his corner, who's a big-time babyface, if Carmelo comes out as babyface, then that's going to look kind of silly. So, I don't know. They got decisions that they have to make. They got decisions that they have to make between now and Sunday, for sure.
I mean, let's say he does come out on Saturday, like, it can be a thing of, like, Melo's, like, trying to play it off as, like, nah, I'm just supporting my boys. And Cena's like, why are you with them? It's like, they're just friends. I'm just supporting them. It's no big deal. Like, he just played off that when we know, it's like, we know why you're with them.
I mean, they can do that. They can do that, but, I mean, I don't really trust WWE to even tell that. I mean, I may be wrong, but, they have a lot of logic gaps and things of that nature. So, we know what that is and what story they can tell there. But, I mean, do I trust the WWE to do that? It's kind of hit or miss for me on that.
Right. Yeah, you're not wrong. You're definitely not wrong. But, we'll get more into NXT after this, but or the NXT show after this. But next is you had the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match for the NXT Tag Team Championships. You had the Family. Jesus Christ, why am I getting a notification? The Family, Tony D'Angelo and Shining Stacks, Lorenzo versus the Creed Brothers versus Angel Garza, Humberto Carrillo, and OTM Out the Mud, Bronco Nima, and Lucien Price. It's funny how you said that the previous match was one of the weaker matches. This probably is one of the weaker matches for me, in my opinion. Just a lot of green in the ring. I like the Creeds. I do love the Creeds. I think Julius, to me, is someone who's a future star. He definitely has the talent and he has the look. The guy's a legit beast. He might need a mouthpiece because he kind of has that same, Jack Swagger kind of like speech impediment. Not as bad as his, but it's...
Oh, definitely not as bad. All-American.
A Swagger soaring eagle. And I like Brutus. Brutus is growing on me. I do like Brutus. Garza and Humberto, they're one of those teams that I think they're extremely talented, and I wish they were treated as a much bigger deal than they actually are. OTM, to me, the jury's still out on them. I haven't seen enough of their work.
I said the same thing. I will say that if I'm in the middle to like them being busts and them to being stars, I'm a little slightly over to them becoming stars. So, there's something there with them. You know, I mean, they're green as hell in the ring, so I'm not expecting 5-star classics with them or anything like that. But it did take me a little bit to warm up on the Authors of Pain. I'm not saying that they're the same, and they're a little bit different. But at the end of the day, like, it did take me a while to grow on the Authors of Pain, and I became, very big fans of them. So it may be the same for OTM.
Right. So I'm going to give them a chance. And then, of course, the family. I like Tony D'Angelo. He's grown on me. And then Channing Stacks Lorenzo, I think he's gotten a lot better. He's also dating Ariana Grace. That's not for nothing. But
yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of sloppiness in this match, and I don't, just generally, I'm not a fan of Fatal 4-Ways because they can either be really sloppy or just really bad. This is a little sloppy, and I don't want to put that on any team in particular. So this match wasn't as good as I thought it could have been. There was a spot with Tony where he apparently blew out his knee and then he came back. So I don't know if how much of that was legit or not, but
it was 100% kayfabe. There was no way that was legit. A lot of people are saying like, "Oh my god, is this real?" Like, referee didn't hold up the X. Like,
right?
Like if the referee holds up the X, and sometimes they even do that for kayfabe as well. But if they put their fist up, that means the wrestler's good. If they hold up the X, hey, we need some real medical emergency down here. So it's a real medical emergency situation. But, I like that spot. Obviously, we're playing into Tony D's knee surgery that he had last year.
But the family retains. What'd you think about the match?
I thought it was a good match. It wasn't great or anything like that, but I thought it was good. I like multi-man tag team matches or multi-man matches when they're done right. This one was done right for the most part. It wasn't, like I said, wasn't anything groundbreaking though. And at the end of the day, you had a lot of guys that look good in here. Tony D, with kayfabe in his injury, Stacks look good here. Creed, you know how I feel about the Creeds, like. Enough to be said that springboard Brutus ball to the outside was incredible for a guy his size to do that. Umberto and Angel, they are fucking great. They're fantastic. I don't think they get enough respect for what they are. And OTM, we already said about OTM. Jury saw on them, but I thought they did what they need to do in a match like this. I thought they barely passed. I will say with a D. In their first pay-per-view, premium live event. But at the end of the day, though, I thought this was a good match. Now, I will say this: I'm not going to remember this 2 or 3 months down the road, but in the current, in this current week, I thought it was a good tag team match.
Okay. Next is you had the British Rounds Rules match for the NXT Heritage Cup: Noam Dar versus Butch. I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling this match. And it's not the talent, it's just the whole concept of the British Rounds Rules match doesn't work for me, and I don't really think it's working for a lot of the casuals or most of the fans. It's just, I think what really is kind of confusing about it is like when it starts to cook, then they have to take breaks, and then rinse and repeat. Same thing when it starts to cook. It's like, all right, the first round's done. It's like, I don't know. It's just it's a weird concept. But Noam Dar wins after Joe Coffey interferes, so I guess they're doing a feud with that. And Tyler Bate as well. But overall, what'd you think about the match?
I thought it was a very good. I thought it was one of the best British Rules rounds matches that we've seen. Not saying it was like a 5-star or anything like that, but I thought it was really well with the story that was being told in this match. Just Noam Dar trying to weasel his way out, and he pretty much did at the end of the day, weasel his way out of retaining the Heritage Cup Championship. Butch, what else can you say about Pete Dunne? He's just fucking incredible. Noam Dar, love his in-ring work as well. I think a lot of people are turned off by this concept because they're not used to this concept. They're not used to boxing round rules, so to speak, in pro wrestling. And it's been around for years and years and years, but that's why it's called British Rounds Rules. So, I like the concept. I get it. It's not for everybody, but at the same time as well, it's not like something that you see every day as well. So I love that WWE is trying on new things. I love that WWE is trying new stuff, like with the Iron Survivor Challenge at Deadline, last year. That it seems like to be a hit with people for the Iron Survivor Challenge. So I'm for this. I love that they're trying different things. It's not just another mid-card title. This mid-card title here has different sets of rules. It has different sets of circumstances. Has a different strategy for the wrestlers going into it, and I can appreciate it. Now, with that being said, I probably think this is the fourth best match of the night. Behind the I think the only things I'll put below it is the North American Championship and the tag team match. So I think it's more of a middle match for the for No Mercy.
Right. And there was also a vignette of a mysterious wrestler watching television.
Right, Pillman Jr.
I was going to get to that. He's watching television, but he's also watching current and mainly current generational talent like Charlotte. Who was it? Dominic, the Bloodline, Randy Orton, and then when he turns out the TV, you see Brian Pillman Jr. And
so let me ask you this: I don't think anyone got it, but you may find or know for sure. You know the reason why they showed Charlotte and the Bloodline and Randy Orton. You know why they showed him?
Huh?
Second generation talent.
Yeah, I figured that.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. Some people didn't know that. So,
right. I mean, yeah. Surprisingly, there were some people that didn't really get it. They're just like, "Oh, he's watching Charlotte." I'm like, well, they're generational talent, and he's a second generation talent. So, yeah. But USA Network on X, Twitter, whatever you want to call it, made the announcement that WWE has signed Brian Pillman Jr. So the worst kept secret in WWE has already been announced. So, yay. All right. And let's see. Next match. You have the NXT Championship. Ilya Dragunov versus Carmelo Hayes. And what else can we say about this match? That hasn't already been said by a shit ton of people. It was just great. It was a great match. Very hard hitting. Probably better than their first match. This was an example of a sequel that was better than the first movie. Hayes is just great. He's just really fucking great. He knows how to work. He can adapt to any style. Dragunov is just Dragunov. He knows how to work. He when he goes into that mode of like when his eyes just start bugging out of his head, you legit feel terror for the other guy in the ring. Like the guy's nuts. The guy can sell that he's fucking nuts, and the guy can handle
he is
pain.
batshit crazy, and that's what I love about him.
Love him. He kind of for some reason he looks like Sean Penn. Like I don't know, he just reminds me of Sean Penn. I don't know why, but good actor. But also a great wrestler, and his shit looks believable for a small guy. I mean, for example, the match he had against Dijak earlier in the year, like he was believable in that role of being able to beat a big guy, and also the matches he had against Gunther, Walter, whatever you want to call him. He's believable in that role. So let me ask you something, because RJ asked me this. What do you think about his finish?
The Moscow Torpedo or the diving forearm?
The diving forearm.
I like it. I mean, because both of his finishers can be done against guys he can't pick up, which I think he can pick up anybody, really, to be honest. But it's not like a suplex or anything like that. So, I like the diving forearm better. Just because of what we saw here, he could do it from the top rope if he needs to, kind of like a super AA, something like that. But I like it. I have no issue with it.
Right, I like it too because it looks believable. Like it just the idea of some guy flying and like his forearm hitting your face, like that shit can hurt. But overall, great match, good finish. I was gonna say Dijak. Dragunov having to do what, like 3, flying forearms. Well, technically, I guess 2 off the top rope and 1 regular, just to beat Hayes. Because Hayes didn't have Trick Williams in his corner. So no interferences, no Gaga, no Wesley. Dragunov is now your new NXT champion. Great match. Match of the year candidate for sure.
Yeah, but absolutely. Where would you put it in your matches of the year, or WWE matches of the year, I should say?
Ooh. You know what? I have a lot on my list, and I need to go through it and just organize it. But it's just roughly. It's a top 10 for sure. I'll say that.
That guy's my number 2 match of the year right now.
Okay.
In wrestling.
Okay.
For what I've seen, I mean, I'm pretty sure that there's other matches out there that was probably better, but for what I've seen, yeah.
Right, but enough from me. What'd you think about the match?
I thought, as I just said, I have it as my second best match of the year as of right now. I thought it was phenomenal. It was believable. It was hard hitting. Ilya Dragunov, in reality, is a top 25, top 20 wrestler in the world. If you put him, if you have him as your number 1 wrestler, like, hey, Ilya Dragunov is the best wrestler in the world, I'm not going to argue about that. And I said this on the podcast on Monday, where I went, pretty in depth with this match. But I will say this here: Carmelo Hayes. I won't say he's definitely already been a star. I'm not saying that, but what I'm saying is with Carmelo, this made him into somebody who can do everything. He can do the high flying, he can do the brawling. If he needs to do the technical stuff, he will do that too as well. If he gets down and dirty, he will do that as well. Carmelo is just fantastic, and so is Ilya as well. You got color in the match as well, a little bit of color from Ilya, because he's just a madman, and he likes to get busted open the hard way. But as of right now, I said this on my podcast: who the hell's going to be Ilya Dragunov for this title? Who the hell? Remember, Ilya Dragunov was the guy that ended Gunther's, NXT UK Championship reign. Who the hell is going to be Ilya Dragunov? So you name names out there. I mean, maybe Wesley will get it, But as of right now, it seems to me that whoever's being Ilya Dragunov is not even closer in that contention right now to being Ilya Dragunov. I see Ilya being at least champion through WrestleMania. At least through WrestleMania, probably even after as well if they want to keep it on for a little bit longer. So, but fantastic match. As of right now, my second favorite match of the year at this point in time. Just everything about it. The last time that these guys went up against each other, this got a 4 3/4 star from Meltzer. This should be a 5-star match. This was a 5-star match, for sure. And all with the story that was told of a title change. I thought the last match was a 5-star as well, but this one deservedly does deserve that 5-star accolade for sure.
No arguments there. So we'll go to the main event. We had Tiffany Stratton versus Becky Lynch for the NXT Women's Championship in an Extreme Rules match. Let me preface by saying I thought this was a good match. It was entertaining. It was fun. Tiffany really wants to prove that she can do the hardcore stuff. Like, she really wants to.
She's gonna need to do that, because that's what they do on the main roster for right. Feuds like this. So she passed with flying colors.
Right, she's a tough girl. Like, she's not just all muscle, like, and not just a pretty face. Like, she knows how to work that style. I mean, I still remember the fucking ladder match from earlier this year at TakeOver where she did that swanton on everybody on the floor, and you just hear that smack of her, like, when she landed on the floor. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, that was gnarly to watch. So she proved that she can do this. And Tiffany, I thought, looked like $1 million coming out of this. And I think we talked about this. Here are my gripes. I don't think this should have been the main event. I thought the NXT title match should have been the main event. I thought this should have probably been like the third to last match.
Disagree.
Okay. And also, I don't think this should have been an Extreme Rules match. Well, also here's why.
Wait, why? I'm very curious about that.
I was getting to that. So, what warranted this being an Extreme Rules match?
What warranted to be... Okay, so let me ask you this question with another question. What warrants this to actually be another singles match, or just another one-on-one match? What kind of heat would that match would have had?
Yeah, but the
fans wouldn't care as much.
Here's the thing. This became an Extreme Rules match because all Tiffany did was just hit Becky with a chair, and Becky said, "Okay, it's an Extreme Rules match."
A lot of matches turns into stipulations match because of weapons. Like, I don't know if you remember when TLC used to have like literally the TLC version, like we have a tables match, we have a chairs match. Like, remember that one time? I think it was God, man, where would chairs match include the Big Show? You remember that chairs match that included the Big Show? And it all started because someone used the chair. Yeah, it was Sheamus. Yeah, because I think Sheamus used the chair on Big Show or wherever it was. It was like, okay, this is a chairs match. I don't agree with it, but it's not like it's out of WWE's realm that they have done this. They've done this many, many times in their past.
Yeah, and I didn't like it when they did that then. But like, my whole thing is if you're gonna have a stipulation that's extreme, quote unquote, or pun intended, there needs to be a reasoning behind it, and not just like I hit her with a chair, now it's an Extreme Rules match. But I don't know.
Well, I mean, I agree with that, but I mean, at the end of the day, they had to sell tickets. They had to get people to watch the show, and
true,
and all that. So, I mean, like, I agree with you, but it's just like you gotta think it from the business side of what WWE is trying to do, and it ended up being one of the best matches of the year for the women. So, I'm not gonna complain about it.
No, I'm not sitting here and like stomping my fists on the table and be like, "Arr!" Like, I'm not doing that. I agree with you. Like, from a business, point, they needed to sell tickets for this show, and you had, one of the biggest stars in the women's division versus one of the, rising up and coming, stars in the women's division. So, who's, soon to be on the main roster? Not like soon, but soon. So you needed a gimmick. And
you need to prove a point this was a test for Tiffany Stratton if she can do one of these matches. And also on top of that as well, who else? Like, it ain't gonna get no bigger than Becky Lynch. So the fact that she went with the top dog, per se, in matches like this, because Becky always delivers in matches like this. If Tiffany wouldn't deliver in this match, even though we knew that she would, but if she didn't deliver, that's gonna look to WWE as like, okay, maybe she's not the future. Maybe she needs to be in NXT for a little bit longer. But now, after this match happened, what is Tiffany to do in NXT? I don't even want to see her in NXT no more. There's nothing for her to do. Mm-mm. So she needs to go to the main roster, not ASAP, but, I would say imminently in the next couple months for sure.
I wouldn't be surprised if she shows up at the Rumble.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, I think if she's not at the Rumble, I think that's a letdown at this point.
Right, it's just, where else does she go? Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean, you're definitely 100%, 1,000% right. Because it was like with, two different wrestlers, but, it's like with Chyna when she wrestled the men and she was the Intercontinental Champion, and then she went back to just wrestling women. Like, for her, that was a downgrade because it's like, I was wrestling, Chris Jericho, I was wrestling,
Jeff Jarrett.
I'm back, baby. I'm back, baby. And these women need to go to the kitchen and make my dinner, baby. I sound like Dusty Rhodes there for a second. And then she ends up wrestling Ivory at WrestleMania. So it's just, I don't know. But yeah, with Tiffany Stratton, it's like, okay, the only place to go is up. Like that's my saying. There's only one way to go, and that's up. For her, it'd be a downgrade to like next week. She's in a feud with Roxanne Perez, so she needs to go to the main roster. Like not ASAP, but just make an appearance at the Rumble. So, but again, just all my criticisms aside, I thought this was a fun match. This was good. This really was to benefit Tiffany, and I thought Becky did a great job at elevating Tiffany. But overall, NXT, I know I gave it a B-. I'll probably upgrade it to a B+. Just off of everything we talked about alone. But yeah, I gave it a B+.
Sure. Yeah. Sounds good.
All right. So after No Mercy, Wrestle Dream happened on Sunday. You'll be impressed to know I watched a little bit of it.
I don't know. I am shocked.
By a little bit of it, not just the main event, I did watch the second half of the show. Brian Wright, who usually shows like the viewings on the channel, for whatever reason, his viewing, there was a limit to how many people could watch it, which he didn't even know about that. So luckily somebody else was nice enough
that shows you how much people are invested into the show.
Yeah, kind of says something about me. But luckily somebody else was nice enough to host their own viewing party, so I was able to catch like the tail end of the show with Swerve and Adam Page.
Oh, okay.
Which
I mean that's where the pay per view picked up. I thought the second half of the pay per view was phenomenal compared to the first half.
Right, and Swerve got the win, so good for Swerve. I like Swerve. People have been talking about how much better he is in AEW. I'm like, okay, well, can he get some wins? Finally got a win against Adam Page, who's a main event talent. I use quotation fingers. He's their main event talent.
AEW, champion.
Right, former AEW champion. He's in their main event scene, so I'll say that. And he got the win, so good for Swerve. I do like Swerve, and Swerve was over. They were in Seattle. He's a Seattle boy. They were booing Adam Page, which I thought that was funny. And then, of course, he did the whose house is this? Swerve house. So Swerve got the win. But what'd you think about the match?
I thought this was a phenomenal match. Just the story that was told in the match with Hangman's arm and how Swerve was working Hangman's arm for the buckshot lariat, and how Hangman, anytime when he was using his arm, he'll sell the arm. And he did go for the buckshot lariat, hit Swerve with the buckshot lariat, but couldn't get the pinfall due to his arm being all messed up. They did the spot where Swerve tried to break his arm, his shoulder, that shoulder breaker. When they had some medical people came out to ringside, kayfabe, obviously, just like the thing with Tony D'Angelo, and a sick double foot stomp from the top rope to the edge of the ring to Hangman Page. So that was something. That was really something to see. Just overall, I thought this was a stellar, fantastic pro wrestling match. And, Swerve getting the win was the right thing, obviously. If Swerve would have lost, that would have been, very questionable. But I predicted Swerve to win going into this show. So, yeah, man, I thought it was a very, very, very stellar match. It was one of the best matches of the weekend, for sure.
Right.
Yeah. We're just going to start in the middle, though, right? We're not doing the entire show from... I'm assuming.
Well, I mean, the middle is what I was able to catch.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Just because of, technical problems, I'll say that.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Next is you had Ricky Starks versus Wheeler Yuta. Ricky got the win. I don't know. Again, it's Ricky. I love Ricky Starks. He got the win. Wheeler Yuta, we already know how I feel about him. But it was a match. It happened. It was a decent match.
It didn't need to be on this pay-per-view.
No. Mm-mm.
It could have been on Collision, like, just being honest. Like, love Ricky, you know what I mean? Really, Yuta is great in what he does in the ring. He's just bland as a character, but, this is a Collision match.
Yeah, agreed. Next is a match that a lot of people were talking about. You were talking about. You had Bryan Danielson versus Zack Sabre Jr. in a singles match. I had to rewatch it because I was having problems with my connection during this match. So I rewatched it earlier today just to kind of, get more in tune with the match, to have, more, to actually talk about the match and not just, remember bits and pieces about it. You're going to be surprised when I say this. I thought it was a great match. It
was phenomenal.
It's Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson makes everything great. I mean, I have 2 Bryan Danielson matches on my Match of the Year candidate. And they're both AEW matches. Well, obviously he's in AEW, but right. The only 2 AEW matches I have as Match of the Year candidates are Bryan Danielson matches. He's just fucking awesome. He's great. I'm not the biggest Zack Sabre Jr. fan, but Bryan was able to. it's going to sound silly coming from me, but Bryan was able to make him look good to me. I'll just say that. Like, it was a great technical wrestling match, and now there's talk about a sequel, as they say. Zach wants another match, whether it's in England or in Tokyo or Japan. I mean, wherever. But
it's probably maybe Wrestle Kingdom, Tokyo Dome.
There we go.
I'm assuming that's probably where they want to do it.
But I had fun with the match. Bryan's stuff always looks legit. You know, he's a smaller guy, but his stuff looks legit. His stuff looks like it hurts you. Like, he does look like he's beating the shit out of you. That's what I love about Bryan Danielson. I'm biased because Danielson's billed as being from Aberdeen, Washington, but he's from San Antonio. Like, regardless, he's from San Antonio. He got his training here. He belongs to us.
He trained here. He's not from here.
No, I'm saying he belongs to us. That's kind of the point I'm making, is that he's not actually from San Antonio, but he trained here, so we get rights to him, so to speak. That's what I'm trying to say. But again, great match. But
that dragon screw on Zack Sabre Jr. was gnarly.
Oy.
God, that was so gnarly, man. Yeah, man. I don't think we're giving Zack Sabre Jr. enough credit, though. I mean, we know Bryan Danielson. He's like one of the best ever. I get it, but let's give flowers to Zack Sabre Jr. and what he did in this match. The counters, the reversal. Same thing with Bryan Danielson. They both did the same thing, but just the smooth chain wrestling. And I think a lot of people are now fans. I'm not saying that you are, but saying that they're now fans of Zack Sabre Jr. because they're like, okay, I didn't get it before, but after seeing this match with Bryan Danielson, okay, I get it now. I may check out some more of his stuff, and that's it. You know what I mean? So, you know, I don't come on here saying people are good or bad to blow smoke up people's asses. Saying that because there's a legitimacy, and Zack Sabre Jr. is one of the best in the world. So is Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson, you know, he's on his farewell tour right now, as of right now, and just enjoy him while he's here. No matter where he's at. Doesn't matter if he's in AEW, WWE, New Japan, you know, Rev Pro. Just enjoy him and enjoy him because we're probably not going to see him for much longer. So enjoy the matches, you know, that he has, even though you may question like, who's this Zack Sabre Jr. guy or who the hell's Okada? You know what I mean? He put both great matches and potential match of the year candidates with both guys. Phenomenal match. To me, I thought this was the second best match of the weekend. I have is right behind the Carmelo Hayes Ilya Dragunov. I just prefer that match a little bit more, right? This match was different. This is a different flavor of ice cream. You know, sometimes I like strawberry ice cream. I don't like to eat it all the time. That's what Bryan Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. was with the technical chain wrestling, and it was very believable too as well what they were doing. Like, I can believe that these guys could have wrestled back in the 1970s and 1980s and do the same exact match, and people will rev about it now. You know what I mean? The fact that they got this match over in 2023 and people really appreciate it is very. I was very happy to see that. Very happy to see that people enjoy a pure technical wrestling match, which I didn't think people would in 2023. But these guys went out there and they just killed it. And I know that their legs and arms are fucking sore as shit as we speak.
I think what helps a match like this get over is when the stuff actually looks like it hurts.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, everything, like, you saw the point where Zack Sabre Jr. had Danielson's arms both behind him, and he kind of hooked it with his leg. He kind of did the same thing in the Cruiserweight Classic against Noam Dar. So it's just everything that both guys did look like it hurt. It hurt a lot.
Right. So Bryan Danielson is definitely top 10. However you look at it, he's one of the top 10, best guys on the mat, like bar none.
Oh yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, 100%.
Personally, to me, it's just, it's him and Kurt Angle. It's him and Kurt Angle as like the best technical wrestlers of all time.
So, I don't disagree.
Next is you had a 6-man tag match. You had the Don Callis family, Takesha, Will Ospreay, and Sammy Guevara, with Don Callis versus Chris Jericho and the Golden Elite, Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. I mean, this is fine for what it was. It was all right. I don't know if, I mean, a lot of people have been, I've noticed this because, like, I remember seeing Ibushi in the Cruiserweight Classic, and that guy had, like, a six-pack. Lately, this guy has not been looking that great, like, physically. Like, I don't know how you feel about
that. I mean, he looks about the same. I mean, he is probably a little bit bigger, maybe, but I don't really see too much in his physique. But I don't really pay attention to that as much, so... Right. I mean, he's still Kota Ibushi. Now, he is slowing down a little bit, though. This is not the same Kota Ibushi from the Cruiserweight Classic. I mean, that was 7 years ago, and, we all get older, too, so.
No, I get you. But, yeah, it was a match. It happened. It was fine for what it was. But, what'd you think?
Yeah, same thing. I think a lot of people were, trying to calm down, from the last match. I thought this match was good. It was good. And, to say that, I think a lot of people will probably take that like, oh, it wasn't just good, it was fantastic. I mean, Will Ospreay was in, Takeshita was in, and Kenny Omega and Kota Ibushi. I totally get it. But I think the last match had everyone on such a high as far as being invested in. Knowing, like, the crowd was kind of a little burnt out, or starting to get a little bit of burnt out with these two matches before the main event. So, I don't know if they were saving themselves in the crowd or whatnot because they knew what was coming at the end of the night, but, yeah, man, this was a fine match. It was okay. It wasn't, like I said, wasn't great. I'm not gonna remember this match, in the next month or so, but, at the moment, it was a fine match. I thought it was good.
Okay. Next is the AEW World Tag Team Championships. You had FTR versus Aussie Open. Pretty good match. Aussie Open's kind of growing on me. I think they're really talented. They're kind of an interesting looking team because the other guy looks younger, the other guy looks older. I don't know. I get a kick out of that. I don't know why, but they're a really good team. With each showing that I see them in, and FTR again is FTR. They're fucking great. But FTR got the win, and
with the Super Shatter Machine.
Super Shatter Machine. But yeah, pretty good match. Pretty good tag team match. But overall, what'd you think?
I mean, Aussie Open is showing why they're one of the best tag teams in the world, too, along with FTR. Like, they're fantastic. And Mr. Kyle Fletcher is being inspired by Dean Sky Blue, so so he has to go out there. He has to go out there and show out. So good for him, though. But a lot of people, and I think it's just people who are tired, I think, watch this match. And they're like, oh, I wasn't really feeling this match. Again, this pay-per-view was long, right? And I think people were just, really just waiting for what was happening at the end of the show. But, this was a great tag team match. Not tag team match of the year or anything like that, but it was a great tag team match for sure. And FTR showing why they are one of the best of all time, and one of the best in the world currently. And Aussie Open showing why they are one of the best tag teams in the world, too, as well. So, when you have two dynamic teams like this, it cannot help to be a good match. And the fact that Mark Davis, I don't know if he was selling or if he legit broke something in his forearm or whatnot. I didn't hear any news about it, about his forearm, him really being injured. But he was selling. He was selling so good to the fact that I was like, oh, is he, did he really break something there? But, yeah, I don't see any news on it though, so I didn't see any news on the wire. So hopefully he's okay. Hope he's all right.
Right. Before we get into the main event, because you pointed out something that was interesting, do you think AEW should consider cutting back on matches for their pay-per-views?
Yes and no. I would say yes, due to just the times and, things of that nature and, people getting burnt out. But I would probably lean more towards a no because I support and I pay these pay-per-views. I know a lot of people don't do that, which is whatever. I mean, it's your prerogative. I mean, but I just don't like to steal from companies, because I'm a business owner myself. So, but as a paying customer, I'm like, well, I want to make sure I get my money's worth, and Tony Khan wants to make sure that we get our money's worth and make sure that that we won't complain. Oh man, this pay-per-view was too short. So, if I had to pick between shorter and longer, I'd rather for it to be longer than shorter. But I think if I were to go with it, because this show had a total of 10 matches. 10.
No, I'm looking at it. It's 14, bro.
Well, are we talking about the pre-show?
Okay, never mind. Yeah, pre-show.
Okay. I mean, we're not really going to count the pre-show because it's like, it's the fucking pre-show. Like, I mean, you have the choice if you want to watch those matches or not. So the matches that you're actually paying for, you're paying for 10 matches. I think 10 matches is fine. Maybe they could have cut down on some of the time length of some of these other matches. Because did FTR need to go over 20 minutes? I don't think so. Did the the Callis family versus the Golden Elite and Chris Jericho, did that need to go over 20 minutes? No. Right. They could have cut down some times on some of these other matches here, in my opinion. Shibata and Eddie Kingston. I love Shibata. I love Katsuyori Shibata. And I thought I thought that match was okay for what it was. But, I'm looking at it here. Did I need to go over 10 minutes and win 11 minutes? No. So I think it's more of time management in the matches themselves rather than how many matches on the show. Because I thought 10 matches is okay. It's just like how long these matches are taking. That's number one. And also number two as well. I know we probably won't talk about the scrum, or maybe we will. I don't know. But you know what time the scrum ended?
I'm gonna say after midnight. Really? Yeah, I mean, it's just
No. I would have let that be after midnight. It ended at 2 a.m.
Jesus Christ.
It ended at 2 a.m. The scrum was great. I watched it yesterday in the shop. It was a great scrum, but it ended at 2 a.m. Granted, it was only midnight on the West Coast, but 3 a.m. on the East Coast. So, there you go.
I don't know, it's just me. Like, even if I'm paying for something, it's like, all right, I want to get my money's worth, but I also don't want to be here, like, literally the next day. You know what I mean? So, I think with AEW...
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but, most pay-per-views, not including WWE, even, like the UFC and the boxing, they all go past midnight.
Right, but I mean, even WWE lately is like, okay, we don't need these shows to go past midnight. Let's get out of here before 10.
Right. Well, they end theirs at 10. That's why I said except WWE. WWE is the only one, with the exception of the big shows like your WrestleManias and your SummerSlams and things of that nature, right, that usually gets past 11 o'clock, which is granted. That's fine. I'm okay with that. But yeah, at the same time as well, it's like they don't have the luxury of doing 2-night events like a WrestleMania does it for WWE. So, but most pay-per-views, boxing, like the Canelo fight, that went past midnight here. UFC fights, they go past midnight. So it's not out of the realm of as far as out of the ordinary. So they want to treat AEW, and professional wrestling as a real sport. And, in this particular situation here, they, going past midnight is part in the genre of combat sports. I don't agree with it, but that's probably their line of thinking with that.
Oh, it's like you said, there was, like, you pointed out some matches that probably shouldn't have been on the show. Like you're saying.
Yeah. If you would have took Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta out of there, that would have been 9 matches there. So that would have took 10 minutes.
And also, like you said, it's not so much how many matches, it's just the length of the matches. I mean, it's just like, why did a 6-man match need to be 20 minutes? It could have just been 15 minutes. Why did FTR's match need to be 20 minutes with Aussie Open? And again, I know I just said I like Aussie Open, but it's like, did that match really need to be 20 minutes? It could have been 12 minutes. It could have been 15 minutes. You can tell a story in that length of time. In the main event, we're about to get into it, it was 25 minutes. And really,
I'm okay with the main event being that long.
Right, but it's okay. I'll give you that.
I'm okay with the main event for what for what the story that was told in the match. And it was a 2 out of 3 falls. I thought that was all right. That's what I'm saying. They could have shortened some other matches and to have some of the main matches on the card, including the main event, get the time that it needs. So the main event still could have been 25 minutes, but they would have made the 6-man tag a little bit shorter, the tag team championship match a little bit shorter, got rid of Ricky Starks and Wheeler Yuta, maybe shortened Swerve and Hangman just a little bit as well, you could have saved yourself, maybe about 30 minutes on the show, 30 minutes to an hour, possibly.
Right, it's just like Tony Khan needs to look at a lot of these matches and go, okay, does this match need to be on a pay-per-view? Can this match just be on Rampage or Collision? You know what I mean? But
what matches? Just looking at the card, because there was 10 matches. What would have got rid of?
All right, let me look at it. So you had MJF in a 2-on-1 handicap match for the Ring of Honor Tag Team Championships. It's tough because he's the world champion, so I would say keep it because he's the world champion. You need your world champ on the show.
Right, yeah.
Eddie Kingston versus Shibata. You could have put that on Collision.
You think you would have put that on Collision? Because remember, this was a tribute to Antonio Inoki.
Okay,
this show.
Then I guess based off of that alone, keep that there. Chris Statlander versus Julia Hart. You probably could have put that on Collision or Dynamite.
That was the only women's match too, by the way.
Right. God damn it.
I'm just pointing it out. Like that would have been the only wins, and that match didn't overstay his welcome too. So,
I mean, it was short the way it needed to be. The World Tag Team Championship match. You need a Tag Team Championship match on the show, so I guess you could have kept that. Maybe not.
I'll tell you this: you could have got rid of the 4-way tag team match for the AEW future AEW Championship shot with the Young Bucks and the Lucha Bros and Orange and Hook.
That's actually what I was talking about. Like that was
okay.
I was referring to. You probably could have taken that off because I wasn't reading it correctly. You could have easily taken that off and put it on like Dynamite or Collision.
Yeah, I think they would have. I mean, they had to get the Young Bucks on the show. I get it, but I didn't think it was necessary for them for this match to happen on the pay-per-view.
No. Swerve and Hangman obviously keep because that's a big match. Ricky Starks and Wheeler, you could have put that on Rampage or Collision and nobody would have cared. Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr., that was a high-profile match, so keep it, obviously. The 6-man tag, probably could have been shorter. Could have been like 14, 15 minutes at best. So I guess keep it, but you could have shortened it.
Right.
The tag team match with Aussie Open, it's your World Tag Team Champion, so keep it, but you could have made it shorter, like 15 minutes.
Gotcha.
But anyways, main event time: Christian Cage versus Darby Allin in a 2 out of 3 falls match for the AEW TNT Championship. I mean, there was a lot of gaga with this match, with the obvious reason, but we'll just talk about the match first. It was fine. Like again, I love Darby. His stuff looks good. His stuff looks believable, but it's like, why does this guy want to have severe chronic back problems by the time he's 35?
Yeah, I have no idea, man.
Like,
I have no idea.
A lot of that stuff is a lot of that stuff that he was doing was grody to watch, with Christian powerbombing him, not just on the top of the steel steps, but on the fucking like actual steps itself. Like, I'm like, ugh. Like, why? Like, why are you doing this, Darby? Like, please, you're talented. You don't need to do this. Yeah,
he's like Jeff Hardy times 10 with the risk that he's taking.
Exactly. Even there was a point in Jeff Hardy's career where he's like, maybe I should just have good wrestling matches. Yeah, the match was fine for what it was, but there was only really one reason to watch this match, essentially, and that doesn't. I'm not discrediting anything Christian or Darby did in the match, but there was really only one reason to watch this match, and not just Nick Wayne's hot ass mom. Jesus Christ!
Oh man, I said on Monday, I said the milk was fresh with her. The milk is still fresh with her.
Got that right. So Christian won the match after Nick Wayne turned on Darby, which I think a lot of people kind of saw coming. After which you had Sting come out to make the save, but got his ass beat by all three men, Christian's new crew of Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. And Christian brings in 2 chairs and is about to do a concerto.
Before we get into it, because I know this is going to take up a lot of time, real quick, what did you think about the Nick Wayne heel turn?
I didn't really think it mattered. I mean, it's obviously important because it's going to build towards something he's going to do with Darby, and it's going to elevate him in the eyes of the fans. We're going to see what he can do. But it was predictable, and I think it really fell flat, especially after what happened. Later.
I agree. I agree 100% with you. It did. I won't say it fell flat. I mean, some people were, it did get a reaction out of the crowd.
Right.
But I will say that, how does this make sense? How does this make sense? Do we not remember what happened to Nick Wayne the last couple months? Getting nearly murdered by Swerve and AR Fox and just having Christian talking, all this shit about, oh yeah, your dad's dead, your dad's dead, and all that mumbo jumbo. Like, for him just to join Christian out of nowhere, and Darby has back the entire time, and it just doesn't make any sense. There's a lot of logic gaps, and I get that Darby and Nick Wayne's dad had real problems in real life, but you're gonna need to tell me a lot more than that on Dynamite tomorrow on why Nick Wayne turned heel. You guys say a lot more than that. Like, oh, my dad and Darby, they used to not like each other in real life. Okay, then you came up to AEW and you and Darby got along for a couple months before you turned heel. So I don't know.
It is weird because it's like, what did Darby do to you exactly? Because it almost seemed like Darby was nothing but good to you, and you're turning on him because reasons. Like that. That's kind of how I look at things that don't make sense. Where it's like it happened for ... reasons. So, but anyways,
I'll give it a chance. If they explain it, if it makes sense, hey, I'm cool with it. But as of right now, I'm definitely scratching my head.
Right. All right. So now we get to the big reveal. Right as Christian Cage is about to hit that concerto, the lights go out, and you see a vignette of like an old school kind of 70s movie intro that says special presentation. And you see a mysterious figure in a leather jacket drive off in a really nice muscle car, which I'm assuming is either a Mustang or a Chevelle, or I don't know. But he's driving into the city, and then he shows up to an event in question. We're not sure who it is. All of a sudden, you hear "You Think You Know Me," and it's Edge. It's the Metal or not Edge, but Adam Copeland. It's the Metal Lingus theme from Alter Bridge, which apparently Edge got the rights to. He explained, without jumping ahead too much, but he explained September 21st is when his contract with WWE expired officially. So he said he had 9 days to kind of get everything in order, and one of which was buying the rights to Metal Lingus from Alter Bridge. So he owns the rights to the song. That's hence why he brought it. And the woman saying "You Think You Know Me" was actually Beth Phoenix. So yeah, there you go. But Adam Copeland, not Edge, Adam Copeland, the Rated R Superstar, which he actually owns the trademark for now, came out as we all expected, and of course the place went nuts. He comes out and it looks like he's about to kind of reform ENC with Christian, but he ends up taking out his crew. Not Christian, because Christian left, but he took out his crew, and standing in the ring with Darby Allin and Sting, which was cool to watch because I like Sting.
Definitely surreal, man, for sure.
It was pretty surreal seeing Edge and Sting in the ring, but yeah, Adam Copeland is now all elite. It was cool because I love Edge. Edge is one of my favorites. He's in my top 25, which I need to make up that list of my top 25, but he's definitely on there. He's always been one of my favorites. I love Edge. But overall, what'd you think about Adam Copeland's debut in AEW?
Perfect. 100% perfect. Just everything that they did. Maybe they probably could have, just a little gripe. Maybe they could have not done the movie presentation thing, but Darby Allin, He went to film school, so he likes to show off his filming technique, and it looked good. I will say that. So Darby likes to show that off, of course. But yeah, I think it would have hit better if the license went off and all you heard was, "You think you know me?" Which, by the way, I know it's Beth. I know it's Beth, but it doesn't sound good.
Right.
Maybe they should get another recording of it. Outside of that, just hearing meddling that really popped the hell out of me, because it's like, this is WWE Edge in AEW. Like, we're gonna get the same exact person, just with a TV 14 rating, and they're able to push that envelope with language and adult theming. But we're getting Edge, the Radar Superstar Edge, as Adam Copeland in AEW. It's fantastic. I said this on the podcast on Monday. Edge is possibly the most WWE guy of all time.
Mm-hmm.
And what I mean by that is that he was brought up in WWE, I won't say as a nobody at first, but no one knew Edge on the Indies back in 1998 when he came in, right? He was, he did the Sex and Hardcastle thing and Damon Stryker. He had the Damon Stryker appearance in WCW, but he was, he was a jobber. He wasn't like a, part of the main roster. But guys like The Undertaker, people knew him as Mean Mark Callis in WCW before he came to WWF. Mm-hmm. Shawn Michaels was in the Midnight Rockers and in the AWA, former AWA Tag Team Champions with Marty Jannetty. Triple H was Jean Paul Levesque, all right? Adam Copeland is the most WWE guy, to me, in history, because those other guys that I named from before, they all were in other companies and had a little bit of fame in those other companies before coming over to WWE. So the fact that he came over to AEW and now he's All Elite is truly wasn't on my bingo card at the beginning of 2023. So him coming out, him coming down to the save, and him being a babyface is all fine and dandy, and I'm very excited to see about that. At the end of the day, pro wrestling wins. Pro wrestling wins 100% with this. I saw the elitists online, and I talked about this in my podcast. I actually made a short of this. That's on the YouTube channel right now. So you want to catch the short, but basically, Adam Copeland wants to face off, and we'll talk about, maybe talk about the Mia Scrum, but he says he wants to face off against a lot of guys as well.
I have,
and the fact, I'm sorry,
I actually have that link.
Oh, okay. And the fact that a lot of guys, on social media, a lot of people on social media are saying that Edge, he betrayed me. He betrayed WWE, this and the other. You're the reason why pro wrestlers think we are fucking stupid, retarded, whatever word that you want to use. I know it's not politically correct, so I apologize. But at the same time as well, it's just sickening. It's cancerous. Like, this is the most I've ever seen the YWC, the IWC, as tribalistic as it was between Sunday night to today. All of a sudden, right, and I said this on the podcast on Monday, you got Edge, who was in WWE, a month ago, right? A month ago. Oh, he's one of the legends. He's one of the best of all time. He leaves WWE, goes to AEW. Oh, Edge is old. Oh, he's old all of a sudden now. He's old now. Okay, I get it. He's all of a sudden. Just like with Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill in AEW. People didn't even know who Jade Cargill was 3 weeks ago. These WWE, just straight WWE fans. They didn't even know who Jade Cargill was 3 weeks ago. All of a sudden she's in WWE. Oh, she's one of my favorites. Like, cut the shit, man. Like, let's do better. Like, I don't understand, and I'm going to keep talking about it because it needs to have that attention. I don't understand the tribalistic nature. Enjoy it. The wrestlers supporting each other. You see, all the wrestlers coming out to support Jade Cargill on both sides. You see some wrestlers. I mean, I get why WWE is a little worried about that. They may punish you if you come out on social media and say it. But I'm more than sure that Edge got a lot of text messages and a lot of DMs being congratulated on his venture in AEW. So I know we're going to talk a little bit more about this as well, but just, man, like, just enjoy this, man. Like, this may be and I speculate this too as well. Actually, I will cross that bridge when we get there. But as of right now, the Edge debut was fantastic. And, if you love pro wrestling, you should be happy about this, because at the end of the day, either you are a pro wrestling fan or you're just a WWE fan, or maybe you're just an AEW fan. But typically AEW fans kind of still appreciates what WWE does. But if you're just a WWE fan, from what I've been seeing as of late, it's like, oh, fuck AEW, hate AEW, they don't do anything good. Oh, we got Cody though. You hated Cody, 3 years ago, but all of a sudden he comes back to WWE. Oh, you love Cody again. So the tribalistic is very cancerous, and people need to really grow up out there, go touch grass, go live life, because pro wrestling ain't for you guys if you're gonna be acting this way.
Right. So Edge Adam posted on his Instagram. He wrote a very lengthy response, starting out with, some of you may know I am no longer with WWE. My new home is AEW. I'm excited. Whole new roster. Some familiar faces that I wanted to work with again. And a whole set of first ever matches. New challenges. And if you follow my career, you know that's always what I've been driven by. But first and foremost, I want to address my 25 years with WWE. 25 years. I love WWE and appreciate everything the company ever did for me. Always have, always will. They put me on the map, gave me amazing opportunities, and through hard work and on both ends, I've been supplied with a wonderful life. Hell, WWE helped me meet the woman I'd start a family with. Sometimes relationships just grow apart, and I feel the WWE and I have just outgrown each other. I wanted to do more. They didn't have much for me to do. Simple as that. And that's okay. I'll still be watching and supporting all of my friends there. I don't buy into this odd mentality of one company or the other. It's weird. If you took offense to that, take a walk, get some fresh air, and soak up some sunshine. It's wrestling. It's an amazing gig, but still, it's wrestling. Relax. It's supposed to be fun. And it's just a segment of the fans. Not most fans, and definitely not the performers. Within the industry, we all know that more choices is better for everyone and pushes us all to do better. As a wrestling fan, which I still am, it's exciting that there's valuable companies providing wrestling on national and worldwide platforms. If you're actually a fan of wrestling and not acronyms, that should make you happy too. I guess what I'm trying to say is this: if you've appreciated my work, you still can, no matter what the initials are, because I'll still be busting my ass every time I'm out there. This ride isn't over just yet. Just try to have fun, and like it should be, because trust me, I'll be having fun every time I'm out there in an AEW ring. Let's go. So
that was perfectly said. I loved everything about that.
I love Edge. Edge is just, to me, again, by all counts, he's a good guy outside of the ring. And I think he's somebody that, like, he learned a long time ago not to get sucked into this bullshit, especially with fans, where he's like, it's wrestling, have fun. Like, why does it matter who's a mark, who's over, who's not over? Just have fun. If you think something's good, like it, love it. Like, dig it. Like, that's kind of, Edge's mentality of just, like, go have fun. Who cares? Like, stop with this tribal bullshit. I mean, granted, the fans don't help with the tribal bullshit, but with Edge, it's like what we've been saying on this show for, almost a year, which is, why the tribalistic shit? It's not necessary. Just have fun. And in the media scrum, Edge, kind of piggybacking off of what you said a little bit ago, he named talent that he's interested in working with. He said, I've never faced Samoa Joe. That's really exciting to me. I never faced or been in the same ring as Jon Moxley. Highly entertaining to me. Which is kind of weird, because they actually never been in the ring with each other. I know they did, I think they had a segment when he was in the Shield.
I mean, obviously they didn't wrestle each other. So.
Claudio, never been in the ring. There's so many different talent here that I have a lot of respect for, and I like to feel for what that is. He also admitted that he texted Tony Khan 14 names that he'd like to work with after a quick a cursory glance at the roster. Never heard that word before. One of which was Kenny Omega, whom he met for the first time backstage at Wrestle Dream. He made it clear that he has joined the company to contribute, with a big driving factor being how many people there are on the roster that he's never faced before. There's a lot here to see and to challenge myself with. And again, my entire life has been built on challenges. So to look at that and oh God, a guy that I'm not reading it right. Oh God, a guy like me that's a steak dinner waiting to be eaten. Okay. But his first AEW match will be the October 10th edition of Dynamite, which is next Tuesday against Luchasaurus.
Man, we got a lot to talk about next Tuesday.
Next Tuesday is going to be big.
Man. Holy fuck, man.
What else? There's more quotes from him. I already talked about the outgrown thing. He addresses whether AEW will be his last run in wrestling. He said, "I think it's a very safe thing to say because I know how much work is going to take to be able to pull this off. I know that I'm not in any way trying to fool myself into thinking I'm just going to trot through this whole thing. It's going to be hard. It's going to be a lot of hard work. I enjoy hard work. I always have. It's how I'm wired. It's what I was born with. It's in my DNA. So that's super fun. But I'm also a realist, and I understand that I'm not going to be able to maintain it for a super long time. I want to try and maximize what I still have left." And another quote that he had was, his kids kind of are another one of the driving forces on what had him go to AEW, which is go have fun with Uncle Jay, which is, Christian. But another kind of funny quote, which I'll end it with this, is Darby Allin talked about meeting him for the first time, and he said, Adam was he came up to me and said, "I'm not going to be one of those old timers that says back in my day, because I did the same shit that you're doing." And Darby was like, "Well, fuck, I'd listen to you if you said back in my day, because I like the shit you did back in your day." So it's kind of funny. But and then MJF, accidentally called him Edge, and he rolled his eyes like Adam Copeland. And Kenny Omega did the same thing where he called him Edge, and Tony Khan was like, whatever. Like,
it's hard not to not to say Edge. You know what I mean? Like, we know him as that for like 25 years. So
right. Which that's I don't know. That's kind of a thing with me. Is like, I guess a little pet peeve. Not really a pet peeve, but it's just like, the Radar Superstar stuff. After someone explained it, made sense because it was a trademark that WWE didn't pick up. So he can be Radar Superstar and make money off of it. He bought the rights to Metalingus. But I don't know, like, do you think there might have been a conversation with him in WWE about, can I be Edge in AEW?
No, why?
I don't. Again,
it's been copyright. That's for sure copyright. It's WWE's creation as far as his actual ring name.
Right, but it's just like, again, I know I'm going to be comparing apples to oranges here, but like, The Rock had said when he left, when he retired back in like 03 or 04, that Vince kind of just let him be The Rock. Like, he allowed him to use The Rock. That's
different because he knows The Rock wasn't going to go anywhere. That relationship is the Anoa'i family and like the lineage and like how long they've been within WWE. So that to me, that's different. Edge, Adam Copeland doesn't have that lineage in WWE as of yet.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
I don't know. It's still
that's my opinion on that.
It's still kind of weird now that we have to call him Adam Copeland. You know what I mean?
I'm okay with it. I'm all right with it. I mean, when he was doing shit on what was that show he was on? Not Supernatural. What show was that?
I know he was on.
He was on some show. He was on some show maybe about like 10 years ago. I don't know. But anyway, I'm used to calling him Adam Copeland. Oh yeah, there he goes. Haven. Yeah. He was just Adam Copeland on there, and he was building his name up as Adam Copeland in Hollywood. So I'm fine with it.
What's different? I mean, it's different because again, I'm not complaining, but it's like the rated R superstar Adam Copeland.
I mean, what do you want him to be? Blade.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, Syringe.
What is it? What's another word for edge? Corner
or corner steel.
Sharpened. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. So
I don't know, but again, it's just we'll get used to it. But yeah, Edge is an AEW, so good.
So there's still more to this. He stated, and Tony Khan stated that Edge, Adam Copeland stated that he is going to be doing a full-time schedule, which, as of right now, there are no details on his contract. We don't know if it's multi-year, right? If Edge is going to be there every week, not necessarily wrestling, but be there every week, I think that he has a 1-year contract, or at least through the end of 2024.
Right.
Me personally. Because if he's there every week, that means that he's gonna be wrestling maybe about half of those, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. And I know that he wants to come over and he wants to make a impact. No pun intended. To Impact. But he wants to make an impact on AEW, and the fact that he's wrestling next week already, that tells me something right there. But what do you think with Edge's status in AEW? Do you think how long you think he'll be there?
I mean, kind of like you just said. I think maybe a year at best, maybe a year and a half. Because the guy's almost 50. He's going to be 50, I think, this year or next year. And so I think they want to maybe get as much as they can out of him. Yeah, I mean he has a pretty easy schedule. I mean, he's not AEW, doesn't do house shows, so
I mean he turns 50 this month.
Okay, then there you go. So I can't really imagine he's going to be in AEW that long. He just went there mainly so he can retire with his best friend Christian, and also I imagine he's getting paid a lot of money. He's getting paid a pretty penny.
He's getting paid what CM Punk is getting paid, or at least a good chunk of that.
Right. I mean, he's going to be working a lighter schedule. I mean, they say full time, but he's more than likely going to show up more to pay-per-views and maybe make appearances on Dynamite and Collision. There's no chance in hell he's showing up on Rampage.
They said that it was said that he'll be there every week.
Okay, I'll believe it when I see it. I'm just saying, but yeah, I think they're going to get as much as they can out of him because, like you just said, out of all the ex-WWE guys who came to AEW, he is probably the most WWE guy because he's never been anywhere else besides WWE. I mean, he's made appearances, but under different names like Damon Stryker. But as far as like Edge, Adam Copeland, the majority of his career has been in WWE for 25 years. You know what I mean? Like, there's him, there's John Cena, there's Randy Orton, there's The Undertaker, there's, Triple H, and there's probably more people I can't think of off the top of my head.
But even at that, Undertaker and Triple H, they were both in WCW previously on pay-per-views and stuff like that. So,
all right, so let me just kind of narrow it down to people who are primarily just WWE guys: Edge, Randy Orton, and John Cena.
Yeah, of course.
I think Orton probably being there longer because Cena's been a part-timer, but
he's been in and out, yeah.
So, but those are the most WWE guys you can think of. Now you're going to see Edge in a different system. You're possibly going to see him have different matches, maybe working a different style, having different promos. It's going to be interesting to watch. I mean, what are you going to get at Edge at age 50 in AEW? Maybe something different, maybe something not so different. Again, I love Edge. To me, I want to see Edge have I do want to see Edge have different matches. What I mean by different matches, I don't want to see Edge have hardcore death matches. I don't want to see Edge get kicked in the head. I don't want to see Edge have matches against guys that are reckless. I'd rather see Edge against guys in the ring that he knows aren't going to be reckless in the ring. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, he said Jon Moxley, so
as long as it's not like a death match, exploding barbed wire, ice
I
cream.
don't think
match.
it's going to be that. No, but
if it's a wrestling match,
would you be? I mean, this is John Moxley we're talking about here. I know how you feel about him, but would you be okay with a like a standard hardcore match, like brawling and weapons and going in the crowd and fighting each other and make it a little color? Like,
that's
are you okay
fine.
with that?
That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine. Like, as long as it's not like anything involving Edge falling off a ladder or anything reckless like that. Because here's one thing about Edge and Christian that I always find like astounding, which is like they look at the wrestling business differently because Christian knows what he can and can't do, especially now. He knows, okay, I'm going to work smarter. I'm going to have smarter matches. Same thing with Edge. Edge knows, okay, I'm going to work smarter and have smarter matches. I know what works and what doesn't work. With someone like Matt Hardy, for example, Matt Hardy wants to be the cool uncle. Matt Hardy wants, to say, oh, the Young Bucks are great. Kenny Omega's great. This is great. Orange Cassidy's great. Everything's great. Everything the young kids like is great. And Jeff Hardy is just there going, yeah. Like, so for someone like Edge and Christian, they just look at things and go, that's fine. We're just not going to do it. You know what I mean? So, again, kind of going back to what you just said, if it's like a match with John Moxley where it's like, they're fighting to the crowd and they're showing a little bit of color and using steel chairs, I'm fine with. But if it's like, him working Kenny Omega and Kenny does those high knee strikes and kicks him in the head really hard, I don't want to see that. I really don't want to see that. I mean, I know Edge likes to have those long matches, and I get it. I mean, he can do them. I don't think he needs to, but he can do them. I would wish if it's a match against Kenny, I would hope Kenny would maybe show a little restraint and not go 100 miles an hour at fucking Edge like he does with every other match.
But what if that's what Edge wants? He wants the best of Kenny Omega or John Moxley or a Hangman Adam Page. Like, what if that's something that he wants to do?
Let me ask you something. So I love Bryan Danielson. I wince when I see him do these hard spots in matches because I know what he's been through. So when I see him get kicked in the head or fall on his head, I fucking I go, oh, dude.
I don't, because these guys they know what they're getting themselves into when they get in that ring. Like, it doesn't make it right, but like at the same time as well, like if he wants to do that, he's gonna do it at the end of the day. Like, I mean, same thing with Adam Copeland. Like, I really think that, I'm not saying that he wants to go out there and just like gig himself and like bleed buckets. You know what I mean? But do I think we're gonna see like a bloody Edge and maybe take like a thumbtack spot or maybe use a little bit of barbed wire? I think we may get that. We're gonna see fire possibly. I think we may get that. I don't want to see it every week, obviously, but when it permits, like, hell yeah, I want to see that. You know what I mean? Hell yeah, I want to see Edge, go out, on his sword at some points as well, right? But to me, I don't really think, at the end of the day, I don't really think our opinion really matters at the end of the day when it comes down to it. I think it's just that this guy, he's happy. He was elated. Did you see the video of him ringside afterwards? To like taking pictures with fans? Yeah, so you guys like see like the huge, like, the huge smile on his face. He said at the media scrum that he feels that like a big weight was lifted off his shoulders, that he feels free. That's the exact words they say. He feels free. So I don't know, man. I mean, I think I don't really wince when it happens with Bryan Danielson because that's what he wants to do. You know what I mean? Like, the only time I really would wince if it's like, oh, it's like a high angle power bomb, but if it's like kicks to the head, things of that nature, these guys are professionals. Bryan Danielson, luckily hasn't been majorly injured. Like, yeah, the arm stuff, but like I'm talking about like to his neck and head area, like hasn't really been really hurt as of yet. So yeah, I mean, I think I'll be okay with that as long as, to your point, as long as they're not working with dangerous people. I don't want to see Edge with Rey Fenix. Even though Rey Fenix is phenomenal at what he does, he can be reckless, right? I don't want to see Ed,
Sammy.
Sammy Guevara. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Yeah, I don't want to see that. Sammy Guevara, right? But if you give me Edge and Kenny Omega, we already know what's gonna happen. Edge versus Takeshita. You know what I mean? MJF, even though MJF is not reckless or anything like that, but I'm game for it. I really am.
Right. All right. So again, all in all, I don't want to see Edge get hurt. That's kind of
no, of course not. Who was saying? Oh, I want to see Edge get. Well, there was actually people saying, Jesus Christ, there was people on Twitter saying, I want to see Adam Copeland get hurt just because he's in AEW now. It's like, you're fucking sick,
the morons. But are we done with Adam Copeland stuff?
Or if you're done,
I mean, if you want to, what else do you want to cover?
I mean, I think we covered everything that needs to be covered. Well, I'll ask you this. We'll end it here. What were like 3 to 5 matches that you will want to see of him in AEW?
MJF for sure. Let's see, Samoa Joe for sure. I'd say Ricky Starks, but I don't even know if Ricky Starks will be here by the time that happens. So Ricky Starks.
I don't know. We'll see.
I just had a name and I blanked on it. I mean Christian, but that's obvious, so I'm going to keep that out.
Oh yeah.
I mean it's going to happen, but I'll just keep that out for now. Morbid Curiosity, him and Sting. Even though it probably
not a one-on-one match, no, not a one-on-one match.
Right. Yeah, just again, I'll keep that in the Morbid Curiosity file. So my 3,
them teaming up, because I think we're gonna get a 6-man tag. I think that's what they're saying up. So I'm cool with that.
Adam Cole, that'd be a good match.
Yeah.
And eventually they're gonna do a Jericho thing. So just kind of keep that out. And just curiosity, and I know I just kind of said I don't want to see it, but at the same time, I kind of do want to see it, is him and Kenny.
Oh, that's going to be a phenomenal match. It's going to be great.
Those are my 5. What about you?
Kenny Omega, MJF. I think him and Takeshita will be grand for sure. If eventually, you know they're going to do an Edge and Christian reunion, it's going to happen. Edge and Christian versus FTR, versus the Young Bucks, versus who else you could put them in there against? Let me see who else. Darby. I'll be okay with the Darby match, right? That's probably it. There's other ones out there. I wonder what the 14 names are on there, because those are a lot of names. I'm sure guys like him and Moxley. Yeah, I do want to see him and Moxley too. That's definitely one there. Claudio Castagnoli, that was another person that you mentioned that you want to face off against. Him and Orange Cassidy. I'll be good with that. No, there's a lot of dream matches, and the fact that he did mention as well that there was nothing else left for him to do in WWE. Like, and I was saying this for months, for a long time. Like, what is Edge to do in WWE? Just him going to AEW just opens up a whole new door for everyone, and at the end of the day, it's a win-win. It's a win. It's a win for WWE, so they don't have to pay his contract anymore. It's also a win for the AEW and AEW fans. So. Like it.
There you go. Best of luck to this new up-and-comer Adam Copeland. Let's see what he can do. But let's see. I mean, do you really want to talk about Raw? Because
Raw was. We could just hit the highlights of the show. We don't have to go over the entire show, but
right.
Just like I think the 2 major things that came out of the show, the DIY reuniting, and the Intercontinental Championship match in that segment, and the whole Judgment Day bit of what's going on there. So
yeah, so Rhea came back and but went after Nia took her out. Rhea was pissed off at Damien because she thought Damien did a piss poor job at running Judgment Day while she was gone. Damien said, well, I got all my gold. I got my Money in the Bank briefcase. Not to point fingers, but Dom ain't got no gold. Which, Dom had this look on his face like, motherfucker. Rhea got in Dom's face and just said, I got your rematch. You're welcome. But you better come back with gold or don't come home at all. Or come home with gold or don't come home at all. So putting pressure on Dom, which we'll get to. And it's fun. It's just funny seeing Damian getting pissed off at JD McDonough. Like anytime JD breathes, he just gets pissed off. I think it's funny. What else? You had the contract signing with Ciampa and Gunther, which originally that match was supposed to happen at the pay-per-view, but for whatever reason they hot-shotted it as the main event of Raw.
Which at the end of the day, I agreed with, and I said this on the podcast this morning, that if this were on the pay-per-view, they would not have as much time as they did in the main event. And if this is to have Giant Gargano come back and to build up DIY, I agree with the choice of them going on last night and stuff at the pay-per-view.
Okay. But, yeah, Ciampa and Gunther happened. Good match. I mean, they wrestled before. They had a match at TakeOver a few years ago, which was just as good.
I thought this was the best TV match in WWE in 2023.
Right. I mean,
it's fantastic.
Can't go wrong with either guy. Gunther is Gunther, and Ciampa, for a smaller guy, again, looks legit, looks like a killer. Goes out there and kills people with those high knee strikes. Jesus Christ. Gunther got the win. Afterwards, he had Imperium go after Gunther. Or not Gunther, I'm sorry, Ciampa. And then Gargano makes his return to the company and has a DIY reunion with Ciampa. So now we got DIY back. Triple H is more than likely ecstatic about this. I know Justin's ecstatic about this because he's been wanting this for the longest time.
Oh yeah. I think that, and with one thing that we need to note on Ciampa, that promo really got the fans behind him, and people are seeing how good Tommaso Ciampa is, and that we all knew that he could be. Also, as well, this is why I stress every week: let new people get a chance. Tommaso Ciampa passed with flying colors. He passed with flying colors. I made an analogy on the podcast earlier this morning that promo was a 20-yard run for Ciampa. Got first down, big 20-yard run. Then the match against Gunther was another 15-yard run, and now he's into the opponent's territory. You know what I mean? He's on the 45-yard line. He's going towards the end zone. And, so with the fans being behind him now, especially after this match, and the result of Giant Gargano's coming back, Ciampa is going to end up pulling up Giant Gargano as well, so they together can get over as a tag team. I thought it was a great thing that they did last night.
Yeah, it's good seeing DIY back. Haven't seen him in a while. I liked him in NXT. Let's see what they can do in the main roster. What else? They announced for Fastlane, which we'll talk about Fastlane in a bit. But overall, what'd you think about Raw?
Wasn't as good as the last 2 weeks previously. Still a good show. If you have a main event like Gunther and Tommaso Ciampa, how can it not end up being a good show? Bronson Reed and Cedric Alexander. Good to see Cedric on the show. Good to see Tegan Knox getting a win. Good to see. I think Chad Gable. He's kind of becoming a little bit unhinged. Maybe we'll see a character change with Chad Gable down the road as well. Just overall, I thought this show was very, very good. I mean, Ivar and Xavier Woods put on a good match. You know what I mean? The character work of Drew McIntyre, of him to his fans, he still thinks that he's a good guy, but to everyone else, he's a bad guy. So it's really, really good stuff. Really great storytelling that they're doing on Raw right now. So enjoyed the show. Wasn't good as the last 2 weeks, but it was a good show overall.
All right. Now let's get into what just happened. NXT. NXT, the fallout from this past weekend, No Mercy. You had Becky Lynch come out and basically meeting potential challengers for Halloween Havoc, which will be in 3 weeks. It's actually going to be 2 nights. One's going to be the 24th. The second will be on Halloween. Halloween will be on a Tuesday this year, so I'm stoked. Love Halloween. What was it? It was Indy Hartwell, which is weird because she's on the main roster.
Yeah, we don't have time to even talk about that. So
No, we're not. Roxanne Perez and Valkyria, who it's announced they're going to be in a triple threat to see who's going to face Becky at Halloween Havoc. The fans not liking but booing Roxanne, which I thought was weird. Yeah. But
because I hate the NXT fans, man, and down the they are the fucking worst.
Yeah, they need to get out of Full Sail or wherever the fuck they're at, but they need to
Performance Center.
They need to get out of there and take the show on the road. In my opinion.
I mean, I get why they don't because it costs money, but shit, man, like terrible.
They just got like a shit ton of money from. I don't know. Anyways, it's just my opinion. It probably won't happen, but just my opinion. Butch and Tyler Bate versus Gallus with Joe Coffey. Butch and Bate won. I don't know why I say Imperium, but no. Yeah, fun match. Just these 4 teams. Obviously, they've worked with each other like a billion times. But fun tag team match. I imagine it's going to continue.
It's going to end up being a 6-man tag because Ridge Holland came out and made the save.
Right. Next is a segment with Trick Williams, Carmelo Hayes, and the new champion Ilya, where Trick Williams advised Carmelo Hayes, "I can fight Dom alone," despite Carmelo warning him, "You need some help." Maybe you should have taken his advice. Let's see. Dragunov had I guess his first title feud is going to be against Corbin. I don't know why, but
I'm fine with that.
Fine, whatever. Yeah, okay, it's fine. I'm fine with it. Number 1 contender match, you had Indy Hartwell, then Lyra Valkyria, and Roxanne Perez. Roxanne,
you got tongue-tied there.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I definitely did. Roxanne looked like she was about to get the win, but then Kiana James came out and cost her the match. And Valkyria won, so Valkyria will be Becky's first opponent, or next opponent, at Halloween Havoc.
No. Because
what?
Tegan Knox was there, and she's going to face Becky on Monday.
So what happened with that? Because wasn't she supposed to face Becky this past Monday?
Becky got injured. You didn't see her fucking arm?
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, Becky looked like someone like a zombie bit her arm. So,
I mean, well, it is spooky season, so maybe
that's true.
Maybe a zombie did bite her arm, but so Tegan will actually be the first opponent. Whatever happens in that match, which we already know what's going to happen, as a Valkyria will be waiting for them on Halloween.
Yeah,
Havoc night 1. And then another Brian Pillman Jr. vignette, which was basically the same one we saw on Saturday. Blair Davenport versus Gigi Dolan. Gigi got the win. It was a match. Gigi.
I mean, I'm glad that Gigi got a win because her momentum is like at the bottom, and this doesn't really hurt Blair Davenport. It was off a roll up, so Gigi gets the win, and her momentum will start to increase a little bit, and Blair's will remain the same. So I'm fine with that.
Right, and I like Gigi. First match of the breakout tournament: Kalani Jordan versus Izzy Dame.
There was a backstage promo with Mackenzie Mitchell and Kiana James. And Kiana basically says that Roxanne was always treated as a golden child of NXT. And basically, she said that Perez is going to be facing off against Asuka next week on NXT. So that's just step 1 to this crazy madness that the NXT is going to have next week.
Right. Forgot about that. Yep, that'll happen. Roxanne versus Asuka on a big episode of NXT.
Jesus Christ, man. It is... Man, Jesus Christ.
The ratings war is back. Breakout tournament. You had Kalani Jordan versus Izzy Dame. Kalani got the win in a pretty short match. So the opponents in this breakout tournament, you have Lola Vice, Danny Palmer, Ariana Grace, Jada Parker.
Miss Santina Morella, too, Ariana Grace.
Yeah, she's also dating Channing Stacks Lorenzo.
Yep.
Jada Parker, Jakara Jackson, Carmen Petrovic, Jordan and Dame. And
who you have to win the tournament, real quick?
I'm going to go with Lola. I'm going to go with Lola Vice. I think it might be Ariana Grace because it seems like they want to do something with her, but I'm going to go with Lola.
I don't hate that pick. They had Roxanne win last year, who was a babyface. I want to say Kalani, but I don't think they want to have two babyfaces win. Lola is a heel. I think Ariana Grace is a heel, too, so I may go with Ariana Grace.
Right, she's doing the beauty pageant thing, so that could spin into her being a heel and being cutting condescending promos.
Yeah. I seen her entrance on Level Up not too long ago, and it was very heel like. So
we'll see. And next is you had my favorite segment of the night. You had Elektra Lopez and Lola Vice, just alone. That's just awesome. Versus Thea Hale and JC Jane. Thea Hale continuing to be a bad girl with JC Jane. But they also invited Chase U down to the ring to support them. Thea Hale got the win by using her armbar on Elektra Lopez. So we got that going. Another backstage segment. You had Carmelo Hayes walking out. Or let me kind of rewind because I forgot something. So there was a segment with Carmelo Hayes after the in-ring segment with Trick and Ilya, where Braun Breaker approaches Hayes and says, that people like Ilya, all the people cared about was Ilya, but your best friend wasn't there for you. Your best friend wasn't at Gorilla, consoling you and holding you and saying everything's going to be okay. So, Braun's stirring the shit. And then later on, Carmelo Hayes, walking out of the Performance Center and saying, I just got off the phone with somebody who just gave me advice, and that person is John Cena. And he's going to be here next week in my corner. Fast forward, Paul Heyman, who just happened to be at the Performance Center, or maybe not the Performance Center, maybe he's just outside, but he said the Tribal Chief advised me to be in Braun Breaker's corner because John Cena is meddling in bloodline business. So not Roman Reigns, but Paul Heyman will be representing the bloodline next week in Braun Breaker's corner. So, and
Jesus Christ, man.
Braun Breaker versus Carmelo Hayes.
Why? Just okay.
Ratings. I'll answer your question. Ratings.
Stupid. It's retarded, man.
I don't know. NXT at the end of the day is going to be must watch next week, but
it's going to be must watch. But it's like we all know why it's being done, and at the end of the day, does it really matter that much to WWE? I mean, apparently so. But it's come on, guys. Let's not. Jesus, man. All over for Edge debuting his first match in AEW. But whatever. And at the end of the day, too, I like this. I actually do like this, but it's a little overboard that you gotta get John Cena and Cody and Paul Heyman. I thought at the end of the show, Paul Heyman said that Roman Reigns was coming.
Right, and also,
Cody. I thought Roman Reigns was coming.
And Cody is making a big announcement, whatever that is, only to be interrupted by somebody.
What do you think the announcement is going to be?
That he just saved a bunch of his money on his car insurance by switching to Geico. I don't fucking know.
I got Dusty Cup.
Dusty Cup, there you go. The Dusty Cup, baby. Yeah, there'll probably be an announcement, but yeah, Cody's coming out. I mean, I'm almost for certain that they want to maybe do Cena and Braun.
That's the stare down that we're gonna get. We're gonna get that stare down for sure, 100%.
My uncle beat your ass a long time ago. He made you shit yourself in the ring. That's apparently what happened, according to John Cena. That he wrestled Scott Steiner and he shit himself in the ring. So whenever that happened, I don't know. But yeah, the main event. So now we're on to the main event. Yeah, the rematch from Saturday, Trick Williams versus Dominic for the North American title. I guess we'll just kind of skip to the end. Kind of like with you, where it's just like originally, you know, it's like, okay, Trick won, you know, feel good moment. This furthers a storyline with Mello, but then this happens, and it's like, so what's the storyline now? Like, are we still getting to Trick is going to be the babyface, which I hope so.
I mean, the story is that they're both losers, and that, you know, they're both frustrated because they're both losers, and they're going to go up against each other because they're so frustrated because they're both losers.
I mean, it's kind of a very black and white way to look at it, but
I mean, that's what it is. They're both losers. They both lost.
Boy.
I mean, I'm not saying they're losers in real life, because I love Trick, I love Mello, but in the grand scheme of things, there is two losers feuding against each other because they don't have their titles no more.
Wow. I don't know. I really don't agree with the decision to take the title off of Trick this fast.
Trick, at this point, Trick shouldn't even had the championship if this was going to be the end result.
Right, because like to me, I thought it would have been much more interesting if it's like, because when I saw Rhea come out, I'm like, isn't the point of Rhea being pissed at Dom is that she's pissed at Dom and that she's like, you know, you really do need my help to win. Go out there and prove that you don't need my help to win. Like, I would have been fine with Rhea just sitting in the chair just watching Dom the whole time and not reacting. But instead, we got the rest of Judgment Day that came out. I'm like, ah, fuck.
And on Raw, JD McDonough was the one that was supposed to come to the ringside. He ended up coming, but it was like as a run-in. So something happened. Obviously, something changed in the script for sure.
Yeah, I really didn't like the ending because to me it just felt rushed and cheap. But I don't know. I thought it would have been better for Trick to win to really kind of make this storyline much more cohesive. And there's a way you could have really built this dissension with the Judgment Day without having, you know, Dom win the title again. Because like you said, if you were just going to have Trick win it on Saturday and then lose it on Tuesday because you were too scared to make the fans think you're going to break up the Judgment Day, then what was the point of Trick winning?
There was no point in Trick winning whatsoever.
No, there wasn't. So it's just like this makes the storyline with Trick and Mello look bad and just awkward. And all it's doing is just making Judgment Day look bigger. Like, it's not really doing anything for them. Like, this match did nothing for Dom. It really didn't. I don't know. I really didn't agree with the outcome. That's just my opinion. But
I mean, I didn't agree with Trick winning in the first place, so in result, I didn't agree with this outcome either. You know what I mean? So this was a huge miss from NXT. Rarely, but a huge miss from NXT here. Not good. Not good at all. Not good at all. And I guess I could probably go with more of the story of JD came out and helped, and he was the reason why you won the North American Championship again. So this match was really just to put over a main event storyline, or I'm sorry, main roster storyline.
Right.
This wasn't to put over Trick Williams. This didn't advance Trick Williams or Mello. Now the seeds are there, obviously, with the Braun Breaker and all that stuff, but at the same time, it's like, did this, like, the story could still advance without Trick winning the title in the first place. They had him come up to fucking Monday Night Raw and do a fucking promo as the North American champion. How stupid does that look now?
Pretty stupid.
I don't know, man. That's one of the biggest head scratchers of the year for me, for sure.
Exactly. But yeah, next week NXT and AEW are going head to head again for one night only. So
It's childish. I love social media, so a lot of stuff on here is really hilarious. I'll put this in the chat. There's an AI call of CM Punk being called by Tony Khan. Oh my god, it's pretty funny. I mean, because I know how you feel about Tony Khan, so you may get, oh, that's the wrong one. Sorry, I accidentally copied that. Hold on, where is it? Now it's pretty funny too. If you want to look at that real quick, but where is it? Here we go. Let me copy it and let me paste it. Okay, there we go. It's like 13 seconds or something like that.
But yeah. So, do you want to do Fastlane predictions and call it a night?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So far, there's 5 matches announced. I'm guessing there's going to be a 6 match announced on Friday.
There's probably going to be maybe 8 matches total, I want to say.
All right. But Fastlane is this Saturday, October 7th, from Indianapolis, Indiana, in the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. At the moment, there's only 5 matches, so there might be at least maybe 2 more after Friday. But so far, we got, let's see, the Judgment Day, Finn Balor and Damian Priest versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso for the Undisputed Tag Team Championships. Judgment Day.
Jesus, man. I got Cody and Jay.
Okay.
I think because Cody and Jey Uso is going to be on SmackDown on Friday, and I think they want to use this as an excuse to have them on both shows too.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but I'm going to go with Cody and Jey Uso. But after tonight, I don't know, because this is before Dom losing the North American Championship. Yeah, I'll go Judgment Day. I think JD McDonough's probably gonna be in result in the match. I don't agree with this match to happen in the first place because we're just skipping over it, and I have to say it, because it just wouldn't be me. What did Cody and Jay deserve to do to get a title shot?
Being Cody and Jay.
That's definitely not good enough. What tag teams have they been? Have they been any tag teams? Are they an official tag team? Why are they even in a tag team? Getting a tag team title shot. What they should have done was they could have done a 8-man tag, with the Judgment Day, including JD McDonough versus Cody, Jey Uso, Sammy, and Kevin. Yes, I know we may could have got that at Survivor Series and War Games. I know that's probably what's probably going to happen. But they could have Judgment Day win, make them look strong, and maybe they could have done it by, nefarious means or very cheap tactics or whatnot. Or maybe Rhea Ripley gets involved, and really the only way to sell the score is to keep Rhea Ripley out with a War Games match. But what the fuck do I know? I just don't understand why this match is happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be again like Payback, where it just looks like a throwaway pay-per-view that might end up being really good. So,
no, I'm not saying the match is gonna be fine. I'm talking about the logic behind it.
Yeah, they just needed a match. They needed a big time match. They needed Judgment Day on the show, and they needed Cody.
They could have done the 8-man tag.
I mean, they could have, like you said, they could have, but they more than likely want to save that for War Games. Next is you have a 6. Speaking of which, a 6-man tag, the LWO, Rey Mysterio, Santos Escobar, and it says either Joaquin Wilde or Cruz del Toro versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits.
I don't think that was officially said. It was going to be either one. I think they just announced it as LWO. In the graphic, they show 4 versus 3.
All right.
So is this going to be a 4 versus 3 handicap match, or is someone going to join the Street Profits? I gave the idea of Carmelo Hayes, so I don't know. Either way, the heels are winning.
I mean, we might find out on Friday.
I don't know. We might find out on Friday. You definitely will. So
I'll give this to the heels because they're kind of new-ish, so they want to make them a thing. So we'll see what happens. But I'll give it to the heels. Triple threat match for the WWE Women's Championship: Io Sky, Asuka, and Charlotte Flair.
Io pins Asuka.
Agreed. Going with Io.
We may see. There's a possibility. There's two things as well that we have to talk about. Jade Cargill is slated to be at Fastlane on Sunday. Now, I don't think that she's gonna appear, but she just may be backstage. But just keep an eye on it. She may debut on Raw too as well. That's the news story on that. But also as well, Kairi Sane is slated to be joining back with WWE very, very soon. So, will she appear at this pay-per-view? I don't know, but just keep an eye out on that as well. But I got Io retaining.
I got Io as well. Question: do you think Roxanne might make an appearance to kind of hype up the match on Tuesday?
No.
Okay.
I mean, not. Were you just talking about being involved in the match?
I don't know, just coming out to be and we got NXT star Roxanne.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine, but I mean, it's not going to play any. To me, it'll be cool to see her, but that doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things.
No, but I just mean she's sitting ringside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It won't really matter into the grand scheme of things of this match. So I'll just say that Io's going to win, and yeah, I mean, if she's there, cool. I mean, have nothing against it. It's just it doesn't really matter to the show at the end of the day.
Next is you have a tag team match: John Cena and LA Knight versus the Bloodline, Jimmy Uso and Solo Sikoa.
Solo Sikoa, Jimmy Uso versus LA Knight and John Cena. I got the babyfaces.
The babyfaces, yeah. I mean, because it's John Cena and it's LA Knight, who's the top merch seller in the company. So,
yep,
the babyfaces are winning. There's no doubt about that. And what I'm assuming is the main event, the last man standing match for the World Heavyweight Championship: Seth friggin' Rollins versus Shinsuke Nakamura.
This is going to be the main event. I don't know if the Bloodline and Cena and LA should main event, but regardless, I mean, either one of these two matches. But I got Seth Rollins winning. This is not his last match ever, as they were saying on Raw. That's fucking ridiculous to even think about. But I got Seth Rollins winning. Yeah, the way that they're building up this match, I thought what they did on Raw on Monday was fantastic. I thought this is the best that Nakamura looked. I thought the promo with Seth Rollins did with Michael Cole was fantastic as well. But, at the end of the day, Rollins is going to win. I want to see Nakamura get a shot for the title and have the title. Also because that WWE signed a new streaming contract with Abema in Japan. And there's a possibility with WWE and Pro Wrestling Noah working together as well. So I think Shinsuke Nakamura may become champion sometime in 2024 because they kind of did the same thing with Jinder Mahal with the deal in India, and when he became champion, it was really just to get to really drive in the Indian market. I think they probably may do the same thing with Shinsuke Nakamura. I just don't think it's going to happen this Sunday or Saturday. If it happens, great. I'll be cool with that. But just the story that they're telling, we're going to go with Seth Rollins.
Yeah, same. It'll be that thing of Seth is going to barely win. Kind of like in the last match, he's barely going to win this. Do you think Damian comes out to cash in?
No.
Okay, why not?
Why not? What? That would just be utterly random.
I mean, it's a last man standing match, so I don't know. That's just.
I mean. Okay. So if he cashes in, that means they lose tag team titles.
Yeah. Or just.
And it means they're doing it. He may be doing it out of desperation or something.
Well, also because the way I look at it is this is actually WWE's first PLE under the new company name, TKO Holdings. So maybe they want something big to happen.
I don't see that.
Okay.
I don't see that. I mean, if it happens, it happens. But from WWE standpoint, I agree with you. They would do something stupid like that. But I will say that when it comes to their television product, it doesn't call for it right now. Damien's more worried about the blood. I'm sorry, not the bloodline, but the Judgment Day and Judgment Day's business and all that. This really has no call for him to cash in right now. Like, he'll just be out there and random and like, okay, so he cashes in. So if he cashes in, he wins the title.
Well, yeah.
Okay. So he wins the title. So that means that. Okay, so what would you do with Seth Rollins then at that point? He's going to be going away for a while then?
I would definitely give Seth Rollins time off until like Rumble
okay.
time. Or Mania.
So Seth Rollins, top guy, one of the top guys on the show for sure. He's off until Rumble. So it'll just be Jay and Cody as the top baby faces on the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Again, I'm just speculating because to me it's just like it's about match placement because I think the Cena and LA Knight match it could main event. If that's the main event, then I'm like, okay, then Damien's not cashing in. But I think if the world title match is the main event, there's a possibility that Damien could cash in. And also kind of like you just said, if they lose the tag team titles, that could be a possibility. But also, if Dom had lost tonight, then there could have been that possibility of, the Judgment Day continuing their dissension of them losing big matches. But then Damien decides to cash in. But like you said, that could also be like a desperate move.
Yeah, it'll just be desperation at that point. From not from like WWE side of things, but just like from a kayfabe storytelling standpoint for the Judgment Day, and they was like, "Oh, I need a title." Like, I don't know. I don't think he's gonna cash in that title until 2024 sometime. Like, it just doesn't really call for it right now. Like, it just doesn't really like if he cashes in, it's just gonna be like, what? Like he cashes in, then if he wins, like, to me, it'll feel lukewarm if he wins. Like, right now at Fastlane, it'll just feel a little lukewarm. It's like, okay, well, and especially if he ends up keeping the tag team championships, so he's the tag team champion and the world heavyweight champion. It's like, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Then, really, the babyface side of things is, if you take away Seth Rollins, you got Jay, I guess you can do, Jay and Cody and Sammy and Kevin Owens. So there is a point from him is there, but I don't want to see that because because including what happened on Monday, now we're up to 17 matches or 18 matches in total between the Bloodline, not the Bloodline, but the Judgment Day, Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and including Cody Rhodes now and Jey Uso. So it's like, I don't know if I want to see another 3 to 4 months of that. Like, it's, I don't think that's necessary.
How do you feel about Jay flirting with Rhea?
I think it's nothing. I think it's nothing. I don't really think much about it.
That's funny. But that's Fastlane, people. There might be more matches announced at the last minute on Friday. That'd be at least maybe one match or two. I'm gonna say one more match, just to kind of keep with the 6 matches per pay-per-view. So, but
the last show had Payback. They had a total of 6 matches, so they're right on cue with that.
If you had to guess, what would be the 6th match?
I have no idea.
All right. Anyways, guys.
No, I really don't. I have no idea.
No, I'm with you because I'm like, wait, what are some other feuds that we can think of that are in the WWE right now?
Maybe something with Nia Jax and Raquel Rodriguez, and I know. Well, they're going up against each other next week, so that's probably not gonna. I have no idea. I don't know.
What about on SmackDown? What are some other feuds?
Maybe something with Grayson Waller, Austin Theory.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Or Pretty Deadly coming back after Elton's debilitating, life-threatening injury.
Oh man, so sad.
I believe in him. It inspires me when I see him working that hard. Yeah, but that's the show, guys. Did close to 2.5 hours, and yeah, just this Tuesday, because we had to move it Tuesday. But we will be back next Wednesday, same time, same channel, same day. And as always, I want to thank my host here, Justin.
Yeah, it was a fun show. Be sure to subscribe to me on the Morning Slam podcast on YouTube. Today was our most viewed live show today. We're currently right now we're at 170 views on today's podcast. It looks like I've been averaging close to 100 views on every video. Some have been around 60. So yeah, definitely come and check that out. Seems like we're growing our audience fast over there on the channel. So every weekday morning, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. and we'll be going more into depth tomorrow about NXT and Jay Cargill news and some other news as well that was coming up. But yeah, just talking about that and whatever news that comes out later tonight as well. I'm pretty sure there's gonna be some backstage news about everything. So
yeah, congratulations on the success, man.
Yeah, thank you.
It's well earned and well deserved. But of course, listen and just to echo that, listen to the show. 8:30 a.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. You can't miss it. It's live every Monday through Friday on YouTube. If you miss the live feed on YouTube, just watch the replay on YouTube or on Spotify. So great show. It's a great show, guys. You're gonna want to listen to it. As far as this show goes, you can know it every Wednesday live here on the Wrestling Soup Discord at 9 p.m. Central Time after Dynamite. And the show is everywhere podcasts are distributed, whether it be Spotify or Google Podcasts or iTunes and also YouTube. I have a Patreon. It's only $5 a month. I do shows on there with the likes of RJ, which I just did a show with him today. So listen to that. If you're not on Patreon, sign up. Let's get those Patreon numbers up. Do you have a Patreon goal set up or anything where you want to be? I want to try and get at least to 15 subscribers, so that way I can kind of open up more tiers. So, because at the moment it's just $5 a month. I always tell everybody, the more subscribers we get, the more money we get, the more I can do for the shows. Maybe better equipment, maybe open up more tiers, maybe give away some prizes. So you never know. But I also do a show with Ruben Prime, which we're going to start doing twice a month. That's called Culture Attack. And I do a show with Jeff Lippman, Garden of Jerome, which I need to speak to him about when our next show is going to be. And shout out to everybody who supports the show and supports us, likes us, retweets all of our shit, and support all of our friends as well. With that being said, we're done for the night, and we will see you next week, same time, same channel. Have a safe week, and peace.